What were we just saying? 320, 370, Bangalore wicket, England
320,
370,
350. What is
on
it?
A Bangalore wicket?
150.
156. Not even half of what Harshit predicted, not even anywhere close to what I had predicted.
Not even half the prediction we got right.
Exactly. But
that just tells you, that's testament to how good experts we are.
Not that. It just shows how bad England are. On this Bengaluru wicket, I mean, I am sorry. I can understand if you are restricted to 220, 230. It means that the bowlers bowled well, the batters battled it out. This is a capitulation. This is a
surrender.
It's a meek capitulation. And these are the defending champions.
What do you say, Siddharth? Right now, I am disappointed with the so-called aggressive champions. Because he didn't want that word.
You jinxed it.
He didn't want that word.
You jinxed it in the very first day of the World Cup. We don't want to be called aggressive. Really? Then if this is the case, then why did you even win the 2019 World Cup then? To come up in this, I can understand. Okay, in the past, whenever teams have won a World Cup, the very next edition, it's been tough for them. Just ask Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
1996, they won, but 99, meek surrender. Absolute meek surrender.
Yeah.
You look at Australia, maybe 2007 when they won to back, but 11 quarterfinals for them, it was a big letdown. Of course. 15, 19, they reach the semi-finals at least. This England team, if they lose, they have played 6 games, if I am not mistaken. Isn't it?
It's their 6th.
It's their 6th.
5 they've played, 3 they've lost.
No, this will be the 5th game.
No, they've lost 3.
And won only 1.
You're right.
This is the 5th.
Yeah,
if they lose this, they can only mathematically get to 10 points. That's it if they lose this. Even mathematically now they seem to be out of it because look at the games that's coming up. India, Australia.
Australia.
And India is 2 days later on 29th. With this kind of performance.
Very different conditions. Very, very different conditions. Today, on a surface where you thought these batters would make delight, they only ended up disappointing us and themselves. So, what was that shot making? I want to talk about England and the shot making. What this tells me about England right now is we saw what happened against that South Africa match, 21st of October. What was that winning margin for South Africa? 229 runs.
Yes.
What have England done different today? Nothing. What have they learnt? Nothing. That's my takeaway from this English side. Because that day I could see the batters go for shots and not try to dig it out. Today, much the same. Where's the learning? Is this an England team that's just driven by arrogance, that's just driven by baseball, that's just driven by their own ideology and mindset, so much so that they're fixated to the extent that they don't want to learn from the previous mistakes?
They can't learn. I'll tell you why. See, England believe that they are the Rolls Royce of cricket, okay? I'll tell you what.
No, they believe they're the Lamborghini. Rolls Royce is rather smooth.
Lamborghini, okay? They have encountered pure smooth roads in the past. Okay, that's why they could post 350, 370, 380, all those kind of scores. Play in a particular format. But on Indian roads, which are a bit, you may say, in the Hindi term, ubad covered, which is not so, you may say, flat, which has got a bit of uneven bones, it's got a bit of stickiness, the Lamborghini will absolutely crumble to pieces.
You know what's happened? Taking that car analogy forward. Why do they say, and I remember, these used to be, these images used to circulate quite a bit when the Lamborghini first began to be imported here and, people would face issues. Why? Because yes, we know the Lamborghini is a very, very fast car. It's a high maintenance car as well. On Indian roads, why was it not a success? Because the speed bumps. Yes. It's got very little ground clearance. It's very, very close to the ground, right?
Yep.
So what happens is on the Indian surface, on the Indian roads, again, you encounter those speed bumps that they just crash into. It's so low that it crashes into the speed breaker itself.
Yep.
Not a success.
And in India, many people, they say, road mein gadda nahi hai, gadde mein road hai. If you ride the Lamborghini in that, you will crash. That's what this England cricket team is doing. They are crashing because either their gear is stuck in 7th and they don't know how to adjust, or they just are predicting, okay, let's go until the wheels come off. And now the wheels are coming off their World Cup campaign in a spectacular way.
They need what you call, let's say, wheels. I think They need wheel alignment right now.
They need proper vision. They have to understand that whatever car you ride, it has to depend on the road. You can't go 180 kmph on these kind of roads. Say suppose just outside, you can't do 180 kmph there. On the highway you can, on the city centers you can't. England are finding it out the hardest way possible, because look at the shot selection, okay? Josh Butler for the third or the fourth time poking outside off. Yet again, Ketsi got him out in the same way in Mumbai. Here, same. Lahiru Kumara on that channel outside off.
Matt Henry also, though that was a very good ball, I'll be honest, that was a very good ball again. Just try to play that ball, nipping back in.
Again, David Malan poking. Again, Joe Root run out. This image probably sums up England's campaign. Ben Stokes, their savior, their messiah, the man who can even walk on water. He played a pull shot. Dushan Hemanta caught it, just about grabbed it at deep mid wicket.
Fumble there was, right?
He tried, he caught it, but then the momentum was such that he fell down. So that was it. Even the messiah couldn't do much.
The messiah was also living dangerously, by the way. Remember that reverse sweep that he tried, and the ball and the decision was given out, but then of course he then reviewed it, and it was turned around where the faintest of margins, let's say minor brush there was, let's say,
Where
off
have
his.
we got that? Barest of margins.
Of course,
Yeah.
these guys only give it to us.
That is where I will bring your point of arrogance. Why would you want to play that kind of a shot knowing you're 5 or 6 down?
Yeah.
A reverse sweep. That too when you know that Thikshana is bowling stump to stump.
Thikshana was bowling some very good lines today. I must say, nobody was able to pick him. No batter at all.
Yep. I mean, look at everybody there hunted in a pack. Lahiru Kumara has taken 3 wickets. Angelo, thank you. I mean, you proved us wrong yet again. Angelo Matthews, 2 wickets. And
he was involved in the first, the first 2 of the 3 dismissals.
Yep.
He dismisses one, he takes 1 wicket, then he was involved in the run out as well with a very, very measured throw. He took that extra second, saw that Root was out, took the spot on with the throw right over the stumps. The keeper didn't have to do anything, pinpoint. That's where experience comes into play.
And look at it, Angelo Matthews, fun fact, Angelo Matthews now has 12 wickets more than the current chairman of selectors in the Sri Lanka team, Pramodya Wickramasinghe. Now he's back doing the fielding in particular. Look at today how Sri Lanka fielded. It was like the old Sri Lanka team who were electric. Look at the likes of Dushan Hemanta. Look at the likes of, even if you may say, Kusal Pereira. Look at the likes of Mendes. Look at the likes of, even go up a bit, Pawan, if you can just go up a bit. I would like to focus on that catch, that Sadira Samara Vikrama. Just off the turf.
I was actually a little surprised with the decision that was made by the third umpire. I felt it was 50-50. Rather, it's a 55-45, 55 in favor of it being not out, because again I couldn't see clear evidence of it landing, let's say, in the hand of the fielder there. Who's that though? Samara Vikrama. I wasn't quite sure. I was rather surprised for the big screen to read it was out there. I think that's again something that can be looked at. That's not to say
the shadow scooping up, maybe.
That's not to say again, that dismissal or the that moment would have really changed things around. You can only expect, let's say, Chris Wokes to do so much. The match had already drifted away from England, and they were in a position where they really couldn't have done much to salvage.
Exactly. I mean, look at it. The ball. I think what clinched it was the back angle. The front angle was inconclusive, but the back angle showed it, okay, maybe Sadira Samara Vikrama had his finger. That's why. But then look at Liam Livingston's shot selection.
Yeah.
Ball coming back in, goes for an ungainly hoik, hits him on back leg.
Why, when you're 4 down, why would you go for that shot?
That's the disadvantage. See, this is where you want your top order believing you can score runs. Oh, we are batting till number 8. Oh, we are batting till number 9. Oh, we are batting till number 10. Wasn't this the same England and Australia template? You say, oh, the top order can go berserk because they have buffer till number 9 and 10. But the negative consequences are, if your top order fails, the rest of the batting will fail.
No, but this is mindless batting. This is just mindless batting. I don't know, again, I'm just going to reiterate, if you're just batting with arrogance, behind you, thinking that okay, there's going to be someone else. Okay, oh, number 6 can also bat, number 7 can also bat, number 8 can also bat. No, come what may, we're not going to change the way we operate. Is it just arrogance that's costing England right now? Second is, it just baffles me as to how they're not learning. How is it that they're not learning from poor shot selection, from poor stroke making? We saw that happen just the last week when they played against South Africa and were thumped by them.
Yep.
Absolutely thumped by them. 229 runs, and look today where they find themselves right now. And I'm afraid for this England side, because I think it could be curtains on the World Cup campaign today. Not mathematically maybe, but then it is all but exactly. It is all but over. We know that it's just a matter of a few games perhaps before things become even more clear. But right now, I think England's campaign is looking at curtains for now. There is nothing that gives me hope at the moment, because it's not a big total. I think again in excess of 250, or let's say even at that crawl to 250, I would have given them a chance. Right now, I think Sri Lankan batting, by the way, between the two skill sets that we often speak of, the Sri Lankan batting is far better than the Sri Lankan bowling. Today, the Sri Lankan bowling turned up, the bowlers turned up in the field as well. So that, like you mentioned, they were electric. They came into the match wanting to prove a point, wanting to decimate the opposition, and they took all their chances. Sri Lanka did everything that they had come prepared for.
I mean, this is really, I mean, I'm very surprised for one more reason. There is Matthew Mott.
Yeah.
Matthew Mott is currently part of the England coaching setup. This is the same Matthew Mott who transformed the Australia women's team into one of the greatest outfits cricket has ever seen.
Yeah.
Probably world sport has ever seen. The Australia women's cricket team are the greatest sporting unit in the world. Now see how fortunes and a different team dynamic can really pull you down, because the same Matthew Mott, he'll be known now for England's campaign not kicking off in 2023, and they only have themselves to blame because they had a haphazard approach against Afghanistan on the spinning deck in Delhi.
Yes.
And you can encounter a pretty similar condition in Lucknow, where if they are blown away by this performance, they'll head into Lucknow as lambs to the slaughter. Yeah. I don't see England putting up a fight against India. And remember, India's batting, India's bowling, India's fielding is 10x that of Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, exactly. India much superior side when you talk about India, Sri Lanka right now. Again, I'm worried for this England side at the moment. I really don't know where they go from here. I'm definitely being more and more sure that they only head home in a couple of weeks' time. I don't think they're staying here for too long.
It's not coming home, the trophy though, because look at it. Who are your white ball giants? When you look at IPL, when you look at leagues, when you look at ODIs, T20Is, you got Bairstow, you got Livingston, you got Butler, you've got maybe to a certain extent Ben Stokes. T20Is he anyway does well. Where have they performed? Where has Butler performed? Not done well. Where has Livingston performed? Not done. Bairstow, very inconsistent. Malan, very inconsistent. This is your root cause as to why England have not done well. All your white ball stalwarts have lost form at the most inopportune time. The World Cup. They have lost form at that time.
Particularly, I would say the captain. You've not seen any runs from Jos Butler. I don't think he's crossed the 100-run mark in 5 innings now.
Not even a 50 if I have to look at it.
Exactly. Jos Butler not being able to lead from the front. Johnny Bairstow has been hit or miss. But the fact that it's been a collective failure, you can really not put a finger on one player or two players and say, okay, that's the reason why they're not going forward. Look at the margins of defeat, by the way, being beaten by by Afghanistan handsomely. Runs. Then South Africa absolutely hammering them. It's not going. It is a collective failure to sum things up.
Total, and even the bowling's not done well.
Yes,
I mean South Africa.
Mark Wood. Mark Wood only has a couple of wickets. Reece Topley was your highest wicket taker, much against what everyone had expected. Again, he's also out. He took, I think, 8 wickets in 3 matches. You say the talisman, or let's say, the spearhead of this bowling attack. It was the same Mark Wood, by the way, Siddharth, who had taken 18 wickets, if I'm not wrong, in the 2019 edition. Yes. The same Mark Wood has barely managed a couple of wickets in 3 matches.
Cricket can be a great leveler, and look at how England, from the highs of 2019, home advantage, home support, everything, it's crashing, burning all the way down in India. And looking at it, If they lose today, and that too, if they lose by a handsome margin, mathematically I feel 99% England are out. Because look at the two games that they have to face. India. If India they lose, that's it. Even mathematically they cannot make it.
Yeah.
Mathematically also. And that's how, not for the first time, you will see a defending champion bow out in the first round robin stages itself. It happened with Sri Lanka. They won in 1996 but lost in they didn't even make it to the Super 6 stage in 1999. Then if you look at all the other instances, it is truly Australia also had the same problem. 1987 they won, but in 1992 they just never made it to the semi-finals. So even Australia had that. England, well, the curse of the champion will always impact them. Everybody can't be a West Indies. Everybody can't be an Australia. That's
Correct.
why Australia's feat of winning 3 in a row might never ever
Repeat.
might never happen. Such is the nature of the competition.
Also, Siddharth, the way the games evolved, I think the way the games were, right? In that era, you were looking at only one format of the game. You're looking at predominantly is the ODI and the Test format of the game, and most sides, and particularly Australia, had the same 11s, let's say, or had the same core. Right now, things have changed. You've got specialists and whatnot. And in case you're joining us right now, why we've got this rank sort of going on, and why we have this criticism coming towards not just Josh Butler but the entire English squad is because they've underwhelmed now for the 4th time in 5 matches. This is what the scorecard for England looks like, in case you missed out. 156 all out, just 33.2 overs.
Not a typo, let me reiterate, not a typo.
None of this is a typo, by the way. None of this. This, by the way, looks more like a pin code if you see right towards the end. But you'll ask questions of this England batting as to where they're headed, because 30 and 28 respective scores for Johnny Bairstow and David Malan. You'd think at 45 they were at no loss. That's when they lost their first wicket. But after that, an absolute landslide. Joe Root, unfortunate manner, getting run out. Ben Stokes going for an aggressive shot, 43. He's the highest run getter over there for England. But otherwise, just single digit scores predominantly for everyone that followed after Josh Butler. Him getting just 8 runs. Liam Livingstone again careless shot, just 1 run for him, being out LBW to Lahiru Kumara. Moeen Ali then 15 runs of 15 balls for him. Chris Wokes couldn't do much. He was taken, that catch of his was taken by Samara Vikrama. Again, a very good catch. That's what at least the third umpire deemed so. David Willey, again 14 runs for him. He was the only man standing. Adil Rashid, 2 runs for him. Mark Wood, just 5 runs for him. He was the last wicket to fall. And that's how the England innings panned out.
Yep, and that's how 45, and you lost your remaining 10 wickets for 111 runs.
Look at that.
Just 100.
Follow wickets.
Yep. So that is the current situation. Siddharth, let's take some comments before I come to the Sri Lanka bowling of it. England indirectly telling everyone they don't want to play ODI anymore. Oh boy.
Who's that?
Siddharth.
Okay.
Dex is saying England having a World Cup like South Africa 2019. I don't disagree with that at all. I understand the parallels. South Africa were waiting. ABD, please come, please come. In the end, he was not picked only.
Yeah.
I can understand. And that was a practical thing to do. You're not played for 1-2 years. Yeah. Why would you suddenly get him? Stokes, now if you look at it, but of course you will say he made 43. Take that 43 away, England don't have anything to play with. But the decision to hinge your entire campaign on Ben Stokes, sorry, absolute blunder at this point in time. I think Akash Bharadwaj Singh, I think it was wrong to drop Roy and bring a rookie Brook. But yeah, that was a catch-22 situation, Akash. I mean, the unfortunate thing, Jason Roy lost form.
But Roy, his dip wasn't, let's say, significant enough or let's say prolonged enough, I would say. His situation reminds me more or less the situation that Ambati Raidu faced back in 2019. Just the one bad series and he got dropped. And just like he was very sulky about it, so has been Jason Roy.
Yes.
But whatever it is, right now, I'm not too sure even, let's say, Jason Roy would have really turned things around for England, because again, ODI format, T20, again, the impact is far greater. But here you need support right now. He wouldn't have gotten support given the way that the English team has played. I don't think the inclusion of Jason Roy would have really turned things around as well.
It reminds me of that video game. Remember those cars? I mean, you would crash through obstacles, yet you would come one. Yeah. England are probably thinking like that, but in real life, if you crash at an obstacle, you will suffer damage. And that's exactly what's happening to England. Freaking Awesome is saying lack of application, no intent to rotate, not ready to change their playing style, depends upon the conditions. Not even ready to play full 50 overs. They didn't learn anything from losses. Freaking Awesome, point taken, but one more point I'll make. The Sri Lankan captaincy and especially the rotation of the bowlers was spot on from Kusal Mendis today. Angelo Matthews giving you that breakthrough was like gold dust. Come to think of it, the same situation Ben Stokes and even Angelo Matthews. Not played for 5 months, not been part of the white ball setup for over 1.5 to 2 years. Yet he comes back on the big stage and gives them that breakthrough. This is the difference, luck of the draw. Angelo struck, Ben Stokes could not do it. And remember, Ben Stokes has a chronic knee problem. He is, if reports are to be believed, is going to forsake his IPL contract this year.
Yes.
And is going to have knee surgery.
See, this was a known fact that, him coming back to the English side automatically sort of meant that he's not going to be taking part in the IPL next year. He was ready to forego that particular period. Why? Because the surgery which otherwise would have taken place now, he would then have been available to play the IPL. But now that he's made himself available for the World Cup, the surgery takes place now, then the rehab. He's not going to make it as far as the IPL is concerned. He's not going to make it.
So, Akash, I'm sorry, Roy scored a century in South Africa, yet they dropped him. I know, but then what to do? There was a lobby, I think, that was there. Get broke, get broke, get broke. Well, you paid the price for it. Do you think, Gopal Krishnan says, do you think England missed to pick James Vince, who's more conventional player compared to him? But I think, again, England in that 2015-17 era looked well past James Vince. I'm sorry. He may be a good, solid player, but I think they have gone past that at this point. So, oh boy, I really don't understand. Yeah, as I said, the Sri Lanka bowling, why I mentioned that particular point, look at the rotation of bowlers. Madhushanka may have struggled, but he did trouble them with early swing. That first ball,
absolutely, a wicket first ball. Nobody gave him a chance. He in fact himself wasn't confident, which is why Madhushanka. But again, he did get that early swing, I must say.
He got. But for me, the star, Angelo David Matthews. I mean, 2 for 14 and 2 at an economy rate of 2.8.
Well, I was the most pleased to see the way Theekshana bowled today. Again, may not be rewarded, just the 1 wicket for him, but I think his impact was far greater than what the scorecard depicts over here.
He kept Stokes tied down.
They could not read him. They could just not read him, and the variety with which he bowled today. He had the backspin, he had the carom ball, he had the off spinner, the leg spin as well. There was one that was drifting. Again, I think there's this one over that he bowled in which there were 5 different balls that he bowled. 5 different balls.
That's the thing. So it's not looking good for England. They need a miracle. They need, as Pakistan is saying, because there are reports circulating that if Pakistan managed to win the next games and if they reach the semi-final, then and only then by a miracle, Babar Azam can save his captaincy.
True.
For England to stay alive in this World Cup, they have to defend 157. If they don't defend 157 and they are losing today, mathematically, that too by a very slim percentage, they are alive. And remember, if they lose this and they are now heading against India, lambs to the slaughter, if anybody had that expression right now, it would be England. So 157, can Sri Lanka chase it now? Do you think England can still pull off a miracle?
No, Siddharth. I think they without Reece Topley, who's been the best bowler, Mark Wood just express pace. We've seen not just with him but with Haris Rauf as well. You've got to be adapting to the conditions. You've got to be changing your lens. That's not happened with him or with Mark Wood. I don't see England winning this one.
Yep. So that is the current situation. Sri Lanka, if they win this, they will then come into the mid-table scramble then, because Sri Lanka, remember, their initial 3 games, they were absolutely pummeled. And looking at it, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, New Zealand.
This is good news for them.
Could be good. Because see, if you win against Afghanistan, Bangladesh and even New Zealand, you lose to India on November 2, they still can actually make it. They might be in with a slim chance.
Very slim. Though, but then, it'll just be 10 points for them.
They'll need other results going their way.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. But they are also in with a chance today then, if it happens. So Sri Lanka will also make it 6-6 in World Cup encounters. England would have not beaten them in the 21st century even now, if that happens today. So we'll be back for the post-match. Let's see how much time Sri Lanka takes. I think with the wicket how it is playing, it may not be a straightforward chase.
I agree.
It could be a 30-35 over chase with Sri Lanka
So yeah,
scraping through.
So just about 5:20 play.
Yep, plays
should
about to
resume
start
in
now.
another couple of minutes.
Yep.
Hopefully around 7:38, we'll join you guys.
We'll join you guys. So from me and Harsha, that's bye-bye. Still trying to wrap our heads as to, is this an imposter England team that's playing at this point? It's really, really surprising. And I'm glad Shane isn't here. Otherwise, he would have...
Yeah, you would have. Condolences to Shane, let's say.
Condolences to Shane. So from me and Harsha, that's bye-bye. We'll be back soon.